G'day, I'm Steve and welcome to Exploring Sydney and Beyond. We have another episode for you today here at Fort Wallace. Today we're going to have a look at the above ground structures. In previous videos we did have a look at the tunnel system, so if you've missed out on that, just scroll through some of my videos and you'll find one on the tunnel system here and also another one on a bomb-proof bunker. Anyway, let's have a look around here today. Right over here, this is where we had one of the massive gun placements. For World War II, they had a 9.2 inch gun that was sitting right here. And they had another one just up along the far end over there. We'll have a visit and check that out later. You can also make out the watchtower there in the background. And that had a vast view of the total coastline here from Nobby's Head over there right up to the horizon, both south and north. Now, the guns they used here, they were incredibly powerful guns, unbelievably powerful. They were the biggest and most destructive gun placements that they had in Newcastle back at the time in World War II. And Fort Wallace played a crucial role in protecting both Newcastle and its steel industry run by BHP. Mainly because we funded the war through our manufacturing processes. BHP and its employees, they made basically everything that Australia needed to fight a war. From guns, helmets, munitions, you name it, they pretty much did it. They were even at the forefront of designing armor-piercing ammunition and also metal plates, which were superior and far beyond anyone else at the time. Armor-proof plating to help protect a lot of our ships at the time. This was probably one of the most largest forts, and like all forts, they were pretty much run by women of the day. We had some 700,000 men, Aussie men, young men, who were fighting in various parts of the world at the forefront of the war. And it was the women who were running our country and defending our coastline. When I say women, they were as young as 18 years old. You think of an 18-year-old young lady in this day and age, probably be a bit lost without having their mobile phone in front of them for a minute or two. But these young ladies, absolute credit to them. They protected our country. Essentially, they did a man's job. Let's just take a look down here, eh? Now, unfortunately, Fort Wallace is left to ruin currently. It is abandoned as such, and yeah, as you can see, open to vandalism and graffiti, unfortunately. Just down the far end down there are some destroyed buildings. We had some accommodation blocks down there. We had vehicle storage, maintenance, etc, etc. Look, honestly, it's not worth seeing. It's so badly destroyed down there. It's pretty dangerous even walking into some of those buildings. They're full of mould. And just ahead of us over here, we have the other 9-inch gun placement. Now, as powerful as these guns were, I'm just gonna pop myself up these stairs. As powerful as these guns were, they had one critical flaw, and that was their trajectory or aim out into the open ocean. Yes, they could shoot or fire great distances, way out to sea. But one problem that these guns did have is that they couldn't depress the cannon low. They couldn't depress it low. They had no choice except to fire the greater distances. Japanese submarines, Japanese army, they knew that fault. They knew that problem that we had. So they just took their submarines a lot closer to shore and basically flew under the radar, so to speak. So the guns here at Fort Wallace, they did fire at the submarines. They went right over the top of them. They didn't hit a single submarine. In fact, that was another big thing back in the World War II. Australians at war were being told that we're successfully sinking the Japanese submarines, that we're winning the war. And at the time, they had to keep morale up, but that was far from the truth. The truth was they were sinking our ships, our merchant ships mainly. Even though we would travel the ships out of the deep water harbour, out of Newcastle over there in convoy, they still picked them off one by one from time to time. We lost coal ships, iron ore ships. that were sailing off to Melbourne, for instance, or Sydney. During World War II, Japan sunk 39 ships around Australia, naturally killing thousands of Aussies. This was barely reported at the time. 13 of those ships, or 1/3, was here between Newcastle and Sydney. 1/3. And by submarines. They were just picking us off, one by one. Unfortunately, it's a very sad truth that they didn't want to talk about at the time. And mainly because they didn't want to, like I said, kill the morale of the Aussies that were at war. They wanted us to be, well, confident at what we were doing, successful at what we were doing. And, you know, to many extents we were. But our naval was not. And I do like to take this opportunity to thank our Australian men and women for their service. You have made this country what it is today. We have a beautiful free country, and that is thanks to you guys and girls. So thank you very, very much. Your country really does appreciate your hard work, and most importantly your sacrifices, and there were a lot of sacrifices that people today, me included, will never understand. We'll never understand what you've gone through. So thank you very much for your service. Well, in my previous video I did cover the tunnel system underneath here, but what I might do, I might pop down there once more. Access is a bit easier this time, and might take you through one more time. So I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to gear myself up for underground activity, and I'll be back in a second. All right, hang on guys. Welcome back. I'm all ready to go. Before we take the stairs to the underground, let's just have a look down here. There's a few rooms down here. Okay, so here's a sneaky little way in. Wow, just a little bit tight. Okay, these stairs are pretty slippery. Oops. Almost. All right. So this area here, they would have used that to hoist equipment up and down to this lower underground level. So they would have had some sort of a hoist apparatus up on top. And yeah, like I said, heavy equipment up and down. That was that staircase that I just almost went arse over. Wow, this was not here a month ago. So here we have the munitions hoist. This is where the artillery shells were hoisted up to the surface, up to those gun placements. You can see this iron girder here. I bet the artillery shells would have been hanging on some sort of mechanism where they'll roll themselves around, come onto this structure here and be placed onto the hoist mechanism. We'll just come down here. Now right in front of me there, that's an emergency escape hatch to outside. And this might have been a little room where they would have come out and relax, have lunch. Could have also been a storage room. Now this is just one side of the underground facility. There is a tunnel system that links to all the other gun placements. When I say all the other two. So let's head this way. And here we come into the tunnel system. Now, I did make my entry into this room. Just in that hole over there is where I came in. So here's a tunnel that goes right down to the far side. Now, as of about now, we're going downhill. As you can see, this tunnel goes quite a long way. It's actually quite cool down here. It's about 25, 26 degrees outside today, very humid. Down here it feels more about 18 degrees and very little humidity. It's very comfortable down here. Here we have a hallway to our left, and it does keep going down there. I'll tell you what, that echo of my own voice is actually quite scary. In my previous video, this is where we came in from. Okay, we're going to go left. So stick your leg up to the right over there. Just make sure you're behind us. I am by myself today. If you have a look at the condition of this tunnel system, for the most part, it's still in really good condition. Down here we have a drainage system. So our men and women weren't walking through water. There was a way for the water to escape from this tunnel. Do for you, as I like to do in all my videos, I'll turn the lights out for a moment and you'll see just how dark it is in here. So we are underneath another gun placement. So where we first started this video, above ground, that's where we are now underground. We're at the far end of this facility. Duck our heads. Now just over here, this is where they had another hoist where they would have been raising and lowering of the equipment to get it in or out of this facility. Some storage areas. Wow, some critters. Another staircase, another major entrance. This one is blocked off, so we will have to return to the far end to make our escape. So here we are at the other artillery shell hoist. This one's not in as good condition. The last time I was here there were a large pair of rats that were living here, so not get too close. Now this one is heavily rusted out. The roof structure here is definitely much worse for wear, and it shows on the ground. That's all rust shavings on the ground. There's another escape hatch. I'm just wondering, I went into this one last time. It is extremely tight in here. Let me see if I can, I suppose once you commit, you can't really turn around. Okay. Wow, really, really tight. About 2.5 foot. Okay. Again, the roof is definitely showing signs of deterioration and rust. Clearly there's moisture coming through from the outside. Now this side of the bunker is pretty much identical to the other side. I just heard some rats. It's like they're screaming at me after I left the room. Get out of here, don't come back. Just imagine your working day was down here all day long, patrolling our coastline. I don't know if I'm gonna take the exit on that side because that staircase was, yeah, I nearly went, you know what, I think it's safer for me to just leave through here. Okay. Here we are outside again, and we've ended up down the this end where the accommodation blocks are. And here where these trees are, I believe this was a field, playing field perhaps, bit of a recreational area. There's the back of that watchtower. So at some point they're probably going to close this place for good, develop it maybe. I don't know what the plans are. It'd be nice if this place was restored, opened up for a bit of tourism. So, here's a gun placement over there. There's the middle one. And there's the last one. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little trip, return to Fort Wallace. The code name for protecting Newcastle was Fortress Newcastle. Why was it a fortress? Well, this wasn't the only fort. You had several other forts here, including Fort Scratchley on the far headland, which is now a museum. You had two other forts out at Port Stephens. I think those were run by the Americans as well at some point. But this was a crucial piece of land here that they really had to protect. It was the most protected city in all of Australia in terms of per capita population. This was very heavily protected. They could not let the Japanese get a hold of our BHP steelworks. That was an absolute no way. They couldn't let that happen, right to the point where they had the whole place, well, places, factories, they were all rigged with explosives to blow them all up at a moment's notice, because if we lost it, if we couldn't use it for our country, there's no way we were going to let them use it. So we were prepared to destroy it, and so be it. I think that was a good call for the time. But yeah, that's why it's Fortress Newcastle. They had four forts in this area, 2 naval bases and 2 RAF bases. So the closest the Japs got was just off our coast, sinking some of our ships, killing thousands of people. And another story would be they did drop some bombs through the submarines in Sydney. I don't believe that took any lives. to knowledge, and some of them didn't even explode. But a few of the Japanese died trying to do their duty. And in true Aussie style, we gave them a full military funeral, obviously hoping that they would go easy on our Australian soldiers that were captured by them. Unfortunately, that didn't work. They weren't any easier on us. They still tortured us, punished us for being at war. But that was the heroes of our day, fellas. Don't ever forget. Frog in the throat. Don't ever forget them. Like I said earlier, they made this country what we are today. We have a free country because of them. So, again, thank you to the men and women who have served our country. And please, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. This will be the last video for Fort Wallace. I'm going to do a little bit more work in Sydney now. So I hope you join me in the next video. Got a couple of different videos planned as well. They still involve tunnels, but they're not war tunnels. Tunnel of a different nature. So you'll have to pop back and stay tuned for that one. So, but yeah, please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. My family and friends, you guys are the ones that are helping me grow. I'm trying to get this channel to grow a little bit more, and I can bring some more stories and some more places to you, and hopefully it keeps you somewhat entertained. I'm no TV presenter, but it's just a little hobby of mine that I enjoy doing. So I will see you all in the next video, and until then, take care, bye bye, and I'm signing out. Ciao.